What's going on, guys? It's Cameron, and today we've got the Amazing Spider-Man issue 7 finally. I think this releases like every 2 weeks, but it feels a lot longer than that for some reason. Now, in the previous issue, at the very end, we saw Mr. Negative kidnap Peter Parker with Cloak and Dagger. And of course, we're going to be seeing that play out through this issue and see if Peter Parker's got a little bit of a trick up his sleeve. And we're going to be seeing a few interesting things come to light. So, yeah, without further ado, guys, let's jump into this issue and let's get reviewing it. Okay, so when we open the issue up, we're confronted with Peter Parker, Mr. Negative, Cloak and Dagger, basically where the issue ended previously. And I don't know why I haven't noticed this before, but Mr. Negative, if you look at him in detail, he's literally just like a white silhouette. It's like they've forgotten to colour him in or something. And I've never said it before, but I think that's a really interesting character design, because it's not like he's a person, it's like he's separate from the comic when you look at him. It's really weird. Now, I was specifically pleased about Peter Parker's wits and how intelligent he is now. Like, he's been up against many bad guys before, and now that he's got all this Parker Industries craziness going on, he's able to innovate his ideas and obviously the experiences that he's come up against. And I was actually really surprised when Peter was able to get the upper hand and reveal that he wasn't actually being controlled by Mr. Negative's spell or whatever was going on with him. Mainly because Spider-Man has gone up against Mr. Negative before, but obviously Mr. Negative doesn't know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, so the spell doesn't work on Peter Parker for the second time round. We also got a quick glance at the Negative Spider-Man costume, which I thought was pretty awesome as well. Wait, was that the Negative Spider-Man costume? I think it was, but I'm not too sure. Anyway, moving on, something to point out is that we've got Miss Tank here trying to get Peter Parker's attention, absolutely stressing at him, saying it's a personal matter and all this crazy stuff. And I'm not going to say anything, I'll actually give my thoughts on that later on in the review when you guys actually know what she's on about, because it's a pretty major thing. But I just want to point out that Peter Parker has kind of become one of those bosses where he puts kind of his own problems above other people's, if you get what I mean. And I'm not saying that he necessarily does it on purpose, but it does kind of affect his employees at Parker Industries as well. For example, Dr. Wu has had to stop his research or whatever he was doing to prioritize all of his projects towards what Spider-Man's doing. And of course, they don't want to do that, but they have to because Peter Parker told them to. Now, I'm going to be honest, when Spider-Man actually put his costume on and he went out there looking for Mr. Negative, I kind of felt like maybe Peter was being a little bit too careless with his secret identity. I mean, surely Mr. Negative could put it together that if Peter Parker isn't under his spell, then he must have been under the spell before, and the only person that's probably been under the spell before without him knowing it is Spider-Man, so surely he can put 2 and 2 together. So I was a little bit concerned about that when reading the issue, but it might not actually come to that, so we'll just have to see how that plays out when it comes to it. But until then, what you can see on screen right now is Regent returning, and this is a pretty major part of the comic. Now, we haven't seen Regent since The Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows, and we also saw him in like The Amazing Spider-Man issue 1 or issue 2 or whatever it was in this series. So I'm just wondering, why is he here and why is he acting like a superhero? It really seems like he's trying to save people by causing destruction. Like, seriously, he could have killed that criminal. So it kind of reminds me of like a superior Spider-Man type of thing. So I have a feeling that maybe Regent will try to be a superhero and Spider-Man will have to take him down because he's using brutal force to be a superhero or something like that. I don't know. Or maybe he has bigger plans, but I cannot wait to see what they do with him. So going over to Spidey, he was following the tracer that he stuck on Cloak earlier in the comic. And Spider-Man was actually talking about how, knowing his luck, he would follow the tracer, and just as he gets there, or just before he gets there, Cloak will teleport somewhere else, probably around the world or something like that. And I don't know about you guys, but I was so looking forward to that happening, because that is something that would definitely happen to Spider-Man. And I have to say, I was a little bit disappointed that it didn't happen, because I think that would have been just so much more of an interesting read for Spider-Man to have to turn around and swing back the opposite direction. Now, the reason why I think this is because recently in the comics, Spider-Man's had Parker Industries and he's been ahead of the game for so long. Like, whenever something goes wrong for him now, he's either ahead of the game, got a trick up his sleeve, or something along those lines. So it would have been interesting to see maybe something from the old comics come into this new series and kind of flip Spider-Man upside down and give him a taste of what it used to be like back when he didn't fully know what he was doing. So anyway, when I was reading this comic and I was watching Cloak and Dagger fighting Spider-Man, obviously Spider-Man had to do what was necessary and he threw some shade at Dagger, overloading her with dark force energy. And I genuinely sat back and was like, Spider-Man, did you just kill Dagger? Like, I genuinely thought that too much Dark Force energy probably would have put her life in harm's way or something like that. Now, obviously, Spider-Man might have known that Cloak or something like that would have helped her and saved her or whatever, but at first I was just like, wouldn't too much power just overload her and cause her to implode or something? I don't know, but I thought it was a little bit of a risky business, but at the end of the day, Spider-Man was in a risky situation of his own. So at least Spider-Man's still alive. But anyway, going back over to Miss Tang, as you remember earlier in the comic, she was desperately trying to get Peter Parker's attention, and he kind of just shrugged it off his shoulder saying, "Not now, I've got better things to do," or whatever. And to our shock surprise, it actually turns out that Miss Tang's mother is dying, and she actually has the direct phone number to the leader of the Zodiac, Scorpio. And what you can't forget is that she also helped Spider-Man in building his technology and all that awesome stuff, and it seems like she's actually giving the Zodiac the Spider-Mobile, or the Spider mechanical robot thing, and I thought that was awesome. It was such a brilliant twist. But one of the things that I don't like about it is, once again, it's fueled by a family member dying. Like, Miss Tang is probably only doing this because her mother needs help, and that just seems so cliche. It seems like it's been done so many times in the comics, especially because in the recent Ultimate Spider-Man comics that we've just been reviewing, Kingpin just had a similar situation where he did something because his wife needed help. So it seems like this kind of thing has happened too many times in the comics. So I was a little bit disappointed when it shown that Miss Tang actually was doing this because her mother needs help. Like, surely there could just be more awesome situations that could cause these sorts of things, but no, it's got to be another family member dying. Also, remember a few issues back when someone placed the Parker Industries nanoparticles into the CCTV footage and breaking the law? I actually gave a few theories as to who that could be, but maybe it actually was Miss Tang the entire time working with Scorpio in order to save her mother. Or something along those lines, I don't know. Anyway, that is it for this comic, guys. That is it for this review. What did you think? Let me know in the comment section below. And me personally, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 for that dramatic twist at the end. And just because of how awesome Peter Parker is becoming at kind of working his way around situations, especially with pretending that he's being controlled by Mr. Negative to get away from Mr. Negative. That was brilliant. Again though, I would like to see some old Spidey situations come back into the mix just to kind of remind us that Spider-Man isn't perfect all the time. I mean, just because he's got Parker Industries, he should still kind of be making a little bit of mistakes. So yeah, hopefully we'll see that in the future, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Region. But until then, guys, hit the like button on this video, hit the subscribe button for more. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter because I will be giving away the digital codes for Miles Morales Spider-Man issue 1 within the next few days. And of course, you can follow me on Facebook to stay up to date on all the comic book news, and follow me on Instagram to see what I'm doing in my free time when I'm not editing these videos. And last but not least, guys, I will see you all next time.